Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Don't forget, tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show, we'll be talking about above average temperatures all week long. No Arctic air in sight. Rain along the way at times this week. But we have no major storms to deal with. That's all tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show live at 7:35 Eastern Time. And Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York, and Southwest Suffolk County on Long Island, serving the entire New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area. They are Long Island's largest rock salt source, but you might be starting to think about spring and landscaping. They've got sand, they've got mulch, they've got topsoil, they've got everything you need. 631-756-1125, the phone number, the website, omnitruevalue.com. So as we take a look at what's going on today, we've got a rather powerful storm that's actually forming out to the east, throwing back some clouds in southeastern New England and over eastern Long Island. Also a little bit of rain touching southeastern New England, but that is moving northeastward, not an issue here. It actually helped things out today. You see there's a little bit of a dry slot between that and clouds that are moving southward from upstate New York and into Pennsylvania. So that has left us with a fairly nice day. Temperatures rose up into the 50s. We're going to kind of settle there for the rest of the afternoon. Beautiful day in the southeastern part of the United States and in Florida. Beginning to see a little bit of moisture gathering in parts of Texas. And also we have activity that's going on in the northwest. And there's not a whole lot happening here on the radar. There's that rain touching Cape Cod. In fact, most of that is aloft. Very little of it is reaching the ground. The steadier rain is well offshore. Otherwise, the radars are quiet up and down the East Coast, back to at least the Mississippi River. Got a little bit of action here with some snow up in the northern plains and also some snow and rain going on in the Pacific Northwest. We are looking at the latest surface map here. There's your low that's offshore. Got a bit of a northeast flow. There's a weak weather front that's being analyzed right along the coast. And another cold high in southeastern Canada, nowhere near what we saw over the weekend on Saturday. There will be some chillier air that will bleed into the northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states tomorrow. So instead of 50s, we'll be in the 40s. And should be overall a decent day until the next weather system begins its approach, and that is this one here, moving across southern Canada and moving straight east across southern Canada. So we'll probably have a little bit of a cold front to deal with when it moves on through, and that might mean some showers here Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. As far as precipitation is concerned this week, over the next 7 days, so that carries us into next Monday night. Not a whole lot, ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch in New England, down along the coastal plain, generally a half to 3/4. The central Appalachians seeing less, ½ an inch or less, and in some cases 1/4 of an inch or less. A little bit of a max area there in the parts of the middle Mississippi Valley back into Oklahoma and northeastern Texas, where there could be a few inches of rain. And in the northwest, perhaps an inch to a few inches of rain with snows up in the mountains. And speaking of the white stuff, as we take a look at the probability for at least 2 inches, I don't think I have to tell you that there's not going to be much of anything here in the northeast. As far as snow is concerned, even in the areas in northern New England, the probabilities are fairly low, mostly 40% or less. And also in the northernmost Great Lakes, just barely touching some low probability there. Higher probabilities in the Rockies and also on up into the Pacific Northwest. There's also not really much to speak of as far as the long range is concerned. So just a quick look at the upper air pattern across the United States, because other than that brief interruption for 36 hours, we've just basically gone back to the same old nonsense here. With respect to the west to east pattern, it's very progressive. In other words, weather systems just keep moving along. There's nothing to hold cold air in place. There's no cold air in sight. There's no real cold air connection at the moment from Canada. So as these troughs go by, we'll get into some rain. We got a weak one Tuesday night into Wednesday with a cold front. Then a slightly stronger system for Thursday that will bring rain. Now that system is going to weaken and give way to a stronger short wave for Friday into Saturday. And this will bring some more rain later Friday into the first part of Saturday. And again, that trough just moves along offshore, and then it's back to the same old, same old. All the cold air is staying up in Canada for the next 10 days or so. There's no mechanism in the atmosphere to bring any kind of cold air down. So on the surface, the way it plays out, it's fairly straightforward. The models have been kind of locked into this for days now. Haven't really seen too much change. Our storm offshore pulls out. We'll be dry through Tuesday. Here comes some showers on Wednesday. Maybe a little bit of snow up in northern New England, but it's not really all that impressive. Then that goes out. Wednesday's a nice day. We'll be in the 50s. We'll probably be in the 50s and maybe even 60 in eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England on Thursday as this low moves out of the southern plains and heads for the Great Lakes. We'll get some rain Thursday morning, some showers into Thursday evening. It'll shut off for a little while. The front stalls, you can see more energy coming out late this week with a low there in southeast Missouri and a wave that develops near North Carolina. That brings rain up the coast Friday night and Saturday, and then it probably pulls out later in the day, Saturday into Saturday evening, followed by, let's call it chilly but not cold, and drier air for next Sunday. It's pretty straightforward, as I said. Weather in 5, brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125 is the telephone number, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. And once again, tonight, we'll discuss all of this, and we'll take a look at the long range. There are a few things going on down the road that we're going to address, so we'll talk about that and whatever else you want to talk about tonight at 7:35 Eastern Time. So we'll see you then.